And let's look at the right side. Yeah, nothing too much. Okay, it's just there's like a person like riding a horse. Okay, so basically that means adding this means like galloping, like riding the horse galloping. Okay, so yeah, that's the chi part. Okay, so this is a horse. This is like a person on the horse. So it means that person is like doing really fast, like riding horse level fast, galloping fast. Okay, and then as promised, we can talk about soul. Okay, so soul is also very important word, and especially if you got the Chinese or Singaporean background, something like that. It, this is like traditional, not traditional. Sorry, it's like a simplified Chinese version of walk. But there's a very big but here. If you know Chinese and recognize this kanji warning, okay, because you have to forget some part of it. You have to treat some of the kanji with respect because it may not be as you remember the meaning in your language because it's Japanese. Okay, so this is a very typical example of this. If you look it up in simplified Chinese dictionary, this will be to walk. But it's not this many in Japanese. In Japanese, we got a completely different version to run. Okay? So you might think that, riding a horse and to walk, that's not consistent, right? A person riding a horse should go running. So this actually is running. If you think about it, this is like a person trying to run, right? Trying to run. So like trying to run. This is a person, right? Trying to run. So let's look at here. This actually means to run. But if you combine that, like chi so is called soul, right? But if it's like used as a verb, okay, as a verb, it's another it's another pronunciation. So sorry. You become hashiru. Okay? That also means to run. Just add a lu in the end and the pronunciation change. One is so, the other is hashiru. Okay? So, yeah, pretty confusing, huh? And I know this is more about kanji, but this is a very important concept. You may find this like appear a lot. So exactly the same kanji, okay? But if you like adding some of the Japanese hiragana, make it like a different version, different words, it got a completely different pronunciation. But if you just combine that with say like two kanjis together, it got a completely different pronunciation. Why is that? I want to like dive a little bit deeper into this. So, for example, yeah. By the way, my order of writing things, I do that loosely. Okay, don't follow me. I am like actively developing a app that allows you to just input that Japanese words and then automatically give you the animation. Yeah, after I finish developing, I will share with you folks. Yeah, don't worry about it. But my suggestion is that whatever works for you. Okay, you don't have to remember like every tiny little detail. Right? So yeah, just I'm trying to make a point here. So chi so. Okay. So if you look at here, this is definitely pronounced so, right? So, so, right? This is definitely pronounced hashiru, so it's hashi, right? Hashiru. And of course, you can't separate this and say this is hashi. That will be a completely different word. But that's the difference here. So this, if you look at this, is a typical Chinese word. Okay. So in Japanese, this kind of using the Chinese kanji and then pronounced, adding a little bit hiragana, but this rule follow the like traditional Asian pronunciation of Chinese. We call this kind of pronunciation on doku. On doku. And of course, there's another kanji here. I don't want to confuse you. I know it may be super confusing, but that's how complex this language is. It's like a boiling pot of like a different system got together. Okay, so on something like this, doku. Something like this. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know it's super confusing. On doku, right? On's like the sound. Doku is like how to yong, like how to pronounce, how to read it aloud. So read aloud sound. So basically, this is sort of mimicking the sound of Asian Chinese pronunciation. Okay, so and it's more stress on. Okay, so for example, this and how do you pronounce this? It's like okay, basic logic is like this. Okay, this is two words that come from Asian China, and how to pronounce it? Let's just use hiragana to sort of represent the pronunciation of Asian Chinese. Okay, Chinese characters. Just like Japanese use like katakana to represent the imported words in I don't know, Italy, Portugal, and English, something like that. Like kohi, something like that. It's like they use katakana to represent the imported words, but for Chinese characters, they also use the hiragana as a sort of ad hoc, but right now it's like the official way to pronounce this. And then forget about all the Chinese, okay? So just to borrow this and then using this to represent the pronunciation. And of course, this already changed a lot. Like the Asian Chinese and simplified Chinese right now is already involve and change and like different accent, different things change a lot. So the pronunciation becomes so widely different. And right now it's just the two language, okay? One is for Japanese, the other for Chinese. Okay, so it's completely different. Ondoku. And of course, this hashiru is like originally how Japanese speak. Okay, we call that kundoku. Right? Kundoku. Kun is like kunren. Okay, it's like a exercise. Doku. Kundoku. Okay? So basically it's like Nihon no reading order and reading tone using that. Okay? So it's not like a soru, but in here it's chiso. Okay? So this is like hashiru. So you can sort of treat this as Japanese only speak like this, and then they sort of borrow the Chinese words and make it write like this. Okay, so it's like a hybrid way of writing things. So that's how different it is. But if you think, well, this is like more hiragana and more Japanese feel, like Japanese feel pronunciation. That's typically kundoku. And then if like writing all this kanji like Chinese, that's most likely using the ondoku.